In terms of podcasting setups right now, this is not ideal. So I really hope the sound is okay. I've had to open my back doors because it's currently 33 degrees inside my house. We're having a heat wave here right now. I normally would have the door closed, but I'm having to have it open. There's a road that you can sometimes hear cars going down. The birds are going absolutely ape shit. The church is doing choir practice. So it's so noisy right now, but I am just going to go for it because it's the only night that I have this week to record for you. I think done is better than perfect. So I'm following that motto that I try to live by now. And I'm just going to get it out there. And fingers crossed, this is all a waste of time and the sound is great. So today's episode is all about the gift of strangers and the teachings and experiences that we can share with strangers and what it can give us and the value that it has that we have, for the most part, lost touch with, lost sight of. I fucking love strangers, okay? I love having conversations with strangers. And I read the room and I try to be aware of when people look open to engagement and when people don't. But oftentimes, people are actually open to engagement. They're just very much in the habit of, when they're in a public space, being distracted. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec. But when I get those moments and I have a connection with a stranger where you have like the most unexpected chat with them, or you suddenly learn something that you just never would have thought you would learn that day. And it would never have happened had you not have made that connection. You would never have gained that lesson, that thing, that moment, that memory. And I love it. I love it so much. I love it. And it's the only time really that I struggle to engage well with strangers is when I am not in a good place. When I'm not feeling good, I struggle then to go out sometimes and engage openly. But there have been so many occasions where I've been having a bad day, or I've like had a funky, I might be my loo to your face. And then I go out into the world and for whatever reason I end up having, I don't know if can you hear the swifts going past? I kind of hope you can because they sound beautiful. They're very distracting though. Beautifully distracting. Focus. I'm gonna so leave this in. So some days I go out and I'm really not feeling my best, and an interaction with a stranger, an unexpected one, on so many occasions has completely changed my day around for the better. It's actually insane how much even just a few minutes with the right person at the right time can really impact you. And I think because we've normalized distracting ourselves all of the time, right? We've sucked all of the spare time that we would normally have in our days, those little moments waiting in a queue, walking to your next meeting, eating your dinner, all of those little moments where you would usually have had time to reflect or experience, you are now often filling with a distraction. And I would say for majority of people, that distraction is their phone, right? And then pick whatever your medicine is on the phone. It's kind of irrelevant. You could be addicted to Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Vinted, internet shopping, Snapchat, playing a fucking farm simulation game, gambling, WhatsApping all the time, always messaging, always in conversation all of the time, virtually, but not physically. There is a choice for everybody. They have made damn fucking sure that that phone has a reason to be in everybody's palm as much as possible. And there are some people that have always abstained from it and have just never got drawn into it. There are some people that have been in it and managed to pull themselves out of it, literally gone back to dumb phones, gone back to like Nokias to get out of it. There are some people that have chosen to do that, but majority of people are in, right? And some people have just a really healthy balance, which is also amazing. But a lot of people are in hard. So all of those little moments that you normally would have had either for yourself, for experience, or for another person, suddenly get sucked into these apps. You lose that opportunity to interact with a stranger. And it leads to this really insular way of living. And insular doesn't necessarily mean lonely. For some people, it might. The only people that they interact with are people online, but in their real waking day, they might have work colleague friends, but outside of that, they don't actually have friends because they've got this kind of avatar online that artificially fulfills this connection for them in place of real world connection, that is. I'm not saying they don't get something from it. They wouldn't do it if they didn't. But I think we've maybe tipped the scales a bit too hard towards our virtual connection, our social media, and it's fallen away from our in-person patience, kindness, openness towards strangers. That's my personal opinion. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. But that's certainly what I feel like I'm witnessing in the world a lot. Like, I have a memory that will never leave my soul for as long as I live. I'm in New York with my mum, and we are doing a dream trip that we always wanted to do together, New York at Christmas time. And that city is magic. I often find cities a bit uninspiring, claustrophobic. Like, there's definitely exceptions. I love Amsterdam. And New York was just unbelievable, unbelievably inspiring in a lot of ways. And there was a moment where I was on the, right, let me get this right, subway. We're Tube, Europe's metro, New York subway. We're on the subway, and this guy is playing a trumpet. I want to say it's a trumpet, right? A brass instrument. He's like playing on the subway station platform. And it was unbelievable. It was so unbelievably talented. It was butter in my ears. And I witnessed the entire world moving past that man, faces in their phones, like he didn't exist. Like this utter insanity wasn't existing right now in front of them. And they just were hurrying on past or waiting for a train, stood on the platform. They have nowhere to go for 5 minutes. They have nowhere to go, nowhere to be for 5 minutes. And rather than look at a human being in front of them, putting his heart and soul into the world through joyous music, they are choosing to stare into their phones with AirPods in. And I like nudged my mum and I said, "Mum, everybody's just walking past him. No one is paying attention to what's happening in front of them." And what's crazy is I remember seeing another YouTube video where like a famous musician was playing in a subway, and he sold tickets for like the grandest place in New York, sell out, thousands of pounds a ticket, sold out. He's playing it like the next night or something from memory. And he played in the subway completely free, and everyone was just streaming past, not noticing what was right in front of them. And then to experience it firsthand, it was the biggest physical metaphor I've ever seen for missing the magic moments. For complaining that you do not feel joyous, you do not feel connected to your life, yourself, you feel miserable, you feel depressed. There's so many times that we are saying that, and then those little moments, we are just walking straight past them. We're just walking straight past. And I'm saying that with so much love. And if that triggers you, good, because it should. It should piss you off that you are so disconnected from yourself and from the world that you walk past free, insane moments of beauty like that because you're so locked into the system. It is not your fault that you are locked into that system. It has been designed to do that. It has been designed to make you feel unworthy so that you give every single ounce of your attention to it. I've just made you aware. You are now aware. So if you believe what I'm saying right now, and I hope that you do, because what other good reason is there for you to be locked into that phone other than every moment you're on that phone, the odds are you might spend some money very soon and you miss connecting with people in the real world. You miss speaking about important subjects with people in the real world. You remain divided on, like, there's so fucking hell. I could do a whole nother episode on this. Like, why do they want us locked into our phones? But the intent is irrelevant. It's very clear that it's a problem. So now you know, let's talk about it, because now you're in a point of awareness, and that's the most powerful place you can be. And I can promise you, you're going to forget. Fuck yeah, you're going to forget. I am telling you about this. I will forget. But you get better and better at spotting when it happens. When I end up in a doom scroll, sometimes I catch it 5 minutes in, sometimes 15 minutes slips by, and I'm like, oh, whoa, fuck, I'm doing it again. And I'm so aware of it. And I'm so aware of why it's there and why that happens for me. I need to take a sip of water, 1 minute. It's because I'm passionate. I'm getting dehydrated from all the passion. So good. Right. So anyway, I'm on this platform. Everyone's just streaming past this guy. Already mind blown. The subway arrives. I get on it. This train is pretty packed out, but not like obscenely packed. We're not talking peak rush hour, like body to body, but it's a full train. I'm surrounded by hundreds of people that I can see down one side, down the other. And I could not find a single, and I'm not exaggerating, a single human being that was not on their phone. And I, again, nudged my mum and I was like, Mum, can you find a single person not on their phone? And we were like, right, go. First one to find. Neither of us could. So there's 2 lessons to take from this. I've just got a like side thought come in here that I want to talk about. That should make you feel really fucking okay with going out into the world and wearing whatever the hell you want, being whoever the hell you want, because no one gives a fuck. I was on a subway with hundreds of people. I could have been in a fucking giraffe outfit. I genuinely think in a lineup, they could not have picked me out. What outfit was she wearing today? Not a clue. I could have been wearing a giraffe outfit. I was watching this guy doom scrolling, and I know he was doom scrolling because I could just see the thumb aimlessly flicking up, and I could sort of see it in the window reflecting behind him blurred. You know, I couldn't see what he was viewing, but I could see that it was like reels or whatever. And I could see his emotions changing from video to video. I could see the little, like the laugh of his body when it was something that amused him, or like a stern brow when it was clearly something that either intrigued him or angered him. And his body was in this like rested state. He was literally like flopped on this chair. Like his body was not awake, it was resting, but his brain and his emotions were like hundreds of emotions in the 10-minute train ride that I was sat opposite him. We see, and I say we see because this is my experience, my brain, for some fucking reason, sees a habit like that as relaxing. And then when you witness someone else do it, or if you like panned a camera out, if I was sat on my sofa doom scrolling and I like panned out above me like I was in a movie, how long would it be before I was like, okay, this is boring, move on? You live in a house that's like got art supplies and journals and vinyl music and yoga mats. This is fucking boring. Do something else, lady. Like, how long would it be before you were like, move on? We're so unstimulated by our own life that we're seeking stimulation by witnessing someone else's life. We're so uninspired and unstimulated by our own lives that we find a bigger kick looking for stimulation through someone else's. That is crazy. It feels important to talk about the reality of what not engaging with strangers looks like, right? And that's why I'm talking about everyone being on their phones and watching this guy not rest at all on the tube, but not also interact with any humans around him, just go into this like void. The reason I'm talking about that is because those are the moments that you could interact with a stranger. And I always hear people be like, oh, it's so unrealistic if you live in a city. You can't do that in a city because there's like fucking thousands of people and you can't say hello to everyone. I don't know why I'm doing like a snobby London accent. Fuck, was that my like subconscious impression of a city folk? I'm so sorry. I want to call bullshit on this, right? Because I'm not saying you're going to be walking down a high street and being like, hi, 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 hi. Like, talk about take it to the fucking extreme. Yes, in a countryside town, you can do that because you can walk from one end to the other and there's only 3 people. So, logistically, obviously, that's easy. No one is telling you that you've got to say to hi to every single fucking person on the street. But also, if you're taking a back road in a neighborhood that gets like 0 footfall and you have one person walk down that street whilst you're walking up it, why can't you say hello to a stranger and greet them and go, beautiful morning? Or I love your bag. I love your hair. I hope you have an amazing day. Ah, that's so nice. What a lovely little moment. No one is telling you you've got to say hello to everybody. But also, just like you would if you were on a country bus, you can only sit next to maximum 2 people on a fucking subway. So no one's asking you to say hello to the thousands of people on the subway. Just the person next to you, mate. You can have a chat. The person stood on the platform next to you can have a little chin wag. It's okay if you go to engage with someone and they go, and they don't give you a response because they're probably where you are right now. And one day they might break out of their shell and they might just be having a day where they don't talk to a stranger. Cool. You haven't got to be injured by that. Like, you get to just say hello to people and expect nothing back. And I promise you, if you go out into the world wanting to engage with strangers because you can learn, like, that's the perks of this. You can learn from every single person you interact with, pretty much, you can learn something. You can take something away from that interaction. Every single person has a story. Everybody. And so what if you try to engage with 10 people in a week and only 8 of them engage with you, only 5 of them engage with you, and the others just, they don't really know what to do with your interaction. It's not that they don't like you. It's just that their current conditioning belief systems go, oh, stranger, fucking scary. That's what we've been taught. That I genuinely think that's one of the main reasons that people don't interact with strangers is because, oh no, another bumblebee's just flown my flat. Go on, go. Yeah, I got out again. Thank God. It literally took me 10 minutes to catch a bee before recording this because that would have been another sound that you could hear, would be a bee buzzing around me. Jesus. Anyway, I think the fear of strangers is what keeps people from interacting with strangers. There's like, I think there's a couple of layers personally. I mean, again, feel free to add in comments what stops you. I'd love to know. Be brave. Let me know what stops you from interacting with a stranger. In fact, I might put out a video on my Instagram to say, comment, what stops you in interacting with a stranger? Or what makes you interact with strangers? Because I think one of it's fear. We're like, talk stranger danger. Like, oh, don't ever talk to strangers. Strangers will want to hurt you, harm you, like, da, da, da. And I understand that that could be a possibility, but I think you'd probably find it's odds are low. They're never zero, but neither's you won't die when you drive in your car to work today, but you get in it and you drive anyway. It's quite nice interacting with strangers. So, like, maybe just assume that they're not going to be a serial killer or like want to rob you. Use your fucking brain. If you're somewhere that's a big thing, if you're like in a city in a certain country where odds are if you walk through somewhere at night, you're going to get mugged and robbed, maybe don't go that route and don't speak to people there. But like, just use your discernment. But it's this fear of strangers, or I think it's fear of embarrassment. It's fear of like engaging with a stranger and not having them engage back. But as I've just said, it's not that they don't like you, it's that they've just got their conditioning that they haven't broken free from yet. And even if it is that they don't like you, maybe they don't like how you're dressed or whatever, who gives a fuck? How does that harm you in any way? They are a stranger. You are going to leave that situation, and odds are never see them again. So what's the problem? So those two fears, we've already basically, hopefully, nullified them. So let's think about what it gives you. Every single person you speak to can teach you something. If you go out into the world with that, every single person can either teach you something, help you experience something, you could teach them something, or it can just be a really beautiful memory. And I've been watching that show, Race Across the World, and I don't actually have a TV, so I don't really watch TV, but I've applied for the show. Full disclosure, I think I'm allowed to say that. Fuck, I hope I am. Anyway, applied for the show. I have no idea if I've got it yet. If I don't hear anything by the 30th of June, apparently not. So, I mean, maybe tag them for me because I'd really love to go on it. I think it would be amazing and just so eye-opening, and it's all with this in mind. I just want to experience as many strangers as possible in my life. How rad. I want to get as many stories as possible. And if you've not seen Race Across the World, I actually highly recommend it. It's a really emotive, beautiful program, and it's so well produced, and it's not there to like defamate people or make them look bad. It's to show human connection on the most wondrous level. And I really, really recommend it. And you get so many different cultures shown in one series because they're racing, obviously, across the world. So you see all of this different stuff. And the common thread throughout the entire experience, and I see this in people that travel for a living. I've experienced it myself firsthand when I've had the privilege of traveling, and it's love, and it's community, and it's connection. When you go to these, from you, potentially far-flung places, when I went to Sri Lanka, when I went to Thailand, the welcomeness and the love that you feel in those communities. Morocco as well, like the markets, the souks there are just an unbelievable reminder that local economy still functions and thrives in a lot of places. Everything you could possibly need in these souks, owned by individual families, and it's a beautiful thing. And this is face value. So, I don't know what it's like to live there, to be a part of that. But every single person I interacted with was a very joyous, generous, kind person. And they also seem to interact with each other in that way as well. My friends threw a community festival this weekend just gone, which the two of them built it pretty much like they went hard, and it was amazing. But also loads of people from the community got involved to make it happen. And it was such a beautiful day. So it is out there. And I truly believe that if you feel like your community is disconnected, you can be the change in your community. I don't think people realize the power of one person going out with a community-led heart and a love-led heart and joy and wanting to interact with a stranger. Like, it is a domino effect. You interact with someone and you go, thanks so much. I really, enjoyed that conversation. You really taught me something there. I hope you have an amazing day. Do you think that person walks away unchanged? I think you would go hard push to find a person that when someone says that to them, I'm so glad that I met you today. Thank you. I hope you have an amazing day. That they wouldn't get a warm, fuzzy feeling inside them, and they would walk away with a higher vibrational energy than when they went into that interaction. You see it all the time on these Instagram videos, right? Where people are like, oh, hey, there's this guy, I can't remember his name, but I've seen lots of his videos where he goes, hey, like, what language do you speak? And you see people are quite closed off at first. They're quite like, what's going on here? I don't trust that. You can see them analyzing the situation from a fear response. And he goes, what language do you speak? And they go, oh, I speak, whatever language it is. And he's is it polyglot? Is that how you say it? He speaks like an insane amount of languages. And he starts conversating with them in their language, and watch their body language change, because they've just bonded with a stranger. They've just formed a bridge, a common ground. They've built a rapport like that because they speak the same language. And maybe their language is really rare and they never interact with people. And boom, you immediately see their heart open. And you watch them start to pulsate with pride and joy and love in this conversation that they have between. And then you watch them leave. And if the video then starts again and you see their body language flick back to what it was when they were just storming down the street, focusing on where they were going, avoiding people. And then they get forced into this interaction for a moment. And some people are like, oh, people just need to leave people alone in the street. I'm fucking here for it. I am here for stopping people and being brave and starting an interesting interaction. People always have the right to say no, and that should be fully respected 100% of the time. However, when people engage, or you catch them and they engage, look at the difference that you make, and they leave, and I can guarantee you they have a better day than they would have before they met you. When you have that power sitting inside of you, it is your right. It is your right on this earth to spread that joy, to spread that love, to spread that connection, that community. I'm not saying you have to do it every day. You cannot pour from an empty cup. But when you are feeling it, when you're in a good vibration, I want you to go out there and spread it around like pixie dust. I literally have that written on a manifesto that I wrote for myself in my van when I lived in my van. And one of the lines was, I spread joy and love like pixie dust. Because that is what I want to go out and put into the world. I want to spread, and it's not toxic positivity. It's not someone coming to me with a problem and me being like, oh, and trying to like silver line their problem for them. No, that's not like, people always have to go to the extreme to try and defend their right to be a miserable bastard. I'm going to fucking say it as it is. People will come up with all sorts of excuses to not want to talk to strangers. If you have a genuine reason that it's really difficult for you right now, that's absolutely fine. Just like you might have an inability to talk to strangers because you have unfortunately been one of the people that has experienced a very damaging interaction with a stranger. I hope that through time and through a want to return to love and joy, that you one day are able to move through that. I wish that for you, because I'm sure you want that for yourself too. So I send you all the love and care, but I am not talking to those people right now. Like, I'm talking to the average person that defends their right to be insular and miserable, and then wonders why we have no community, no connection. We're struggling to find people to form relationships with. We feel lonely. If you are not the change, then who? So I really, truly believe that that is as simple to fix that problem, to fix that conditioning of keeping you insular. It's not your fault, but you're now aware. Remember that. I'm not accusing. I'm bringing awareness from that place. And one thing I will say is, my friend group that I now have, who when I tell you, my friends are magnificent human beings. Every single one of them, they are just divine. They are love. They are talented. They are connected. They're just amazing humans, right? I feel so fucking blessed to have these people in my life. And I did not know any of them. I want to say a year ago. It might be, wait, when are we? We're in May. Yeah, still a year. June, I think, will be a year basically since I met this almost entire group. There's like a couple of anomalies that I've known a bit longer, happen to be connected, and then, but we have all just magnetized toward each other over the last year. And there was one turning event, a shared birthday, and then there was a little festival, and it has just sort of grown, and other people have been brought in since then. I didn't know any of them. I went to a friend's birthday and then I spoke to strangers and I played fun games with strangers and I made a connection with strangers. Just because they're a friend of a friend, they're still a stranger to you, and they don't just land on your lap as a potential friend until you engage with them. And I have been rewarded with the most insane friend group. So there's some motivation as well. If you are currently feeling like you don't align with the people that you're surrounded by anymore, or like I had a seismic shift in my friend circle that really hurt, and I grieved it for a long time. And now I know why, because it sent me inward for a little bit, and then I came out a whole different version of myself and ready to meet my fucking tribe, and I met them. Everything happened exactly as it should have. So I am so deeply grateful for all of it. But it was conversations with strangers, guys. It was conversations with strangers. I now want you to think about how you can, baby step, start to interact more with strangers. And what do you need to let go of? What belief systems have you been given that are simply not true, that is stopping you from wanting to do that with an open heart, with love, joy, curiosity? Okay. I'm just going to check my list and make sure that I've covered everything I wanted to. I didn't look at it once, so I just need to make sure. Yeah, I actually think it's quite a good little bullet list to just read to you, because it's almost a recap. So I titled this one "The Gift of Strangers." So that's what this episode is going to be called. We lead insular lives. We spoke a bit about why that is, and I think I could go into a full episode on why your phones are so freaking addictive. But for the time being, let's just hopefully be on the same page that we are leading very insular, distracted lives when we are out in public. We are distracted in places where we would normally have the opportunity to engage with the world around us, or at the very least, experience the world around us. We have a fear of strangers, and accepting that we have a fear of strangers and starting to understand why that might be, or an aversion. If fear is too strong of a word for you, an aversion to strangers, you just would rather not. Why? Why is that? Why would you just rather not? Is your life so full that you have no capacity to learn any new things about the world? Ooh, now I'm being bitchy. But it's true. Is your life that evolved that you don't think you can onboard anymore? Not even just making it that, I don't know, Tuesday's chat day. And when you go on the subway on a Tuesday, or the metro, or the underground, or you walk to work on a Tuesday, you engage with strangers that day. I don't know. Like, it hasn't got to be all the time, dude. But if you're genuinely saying that the only people you ever want to interact with are people that are already in your life, nay interest in anything outside of that, madness, right? And yeah, finally, just really understanding that everybody has a story, everyone can teach you something. So be humble, man. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. I think I'm going to leave it there. I think that all made sense. I batted around a lot, but I think it's because there's a lot of stuff that intertwines into this want, or lack of want, to engage with strangers and what you can get from that. So hopefully some of that resonated with you. As always, take what you want to, leave what you don't. We don't have to agree on everything. That's okay. And if you have any insights into this subject, as I say, why do you avoid speaking with strangers? Do you? Or are you someone that goes out in the world and looks for it? I'd love to know. Please let me know in the comments. I love you. Go say hi to some people. Okay, bye.